Hi everyone, Lisa here for Mindful Tarot, and I wanted to do a relatively quick little video, sort of first impressions, flip through video of the Sola Busca Revisited Tarot. This is a deck that you can purchase by the company Tarot by Seven from Etsy. She's also the person who does the Deck of the Bastard, which is a kind of medieval feeling recreation of the Rider-Waite-Smith. She does really beautifully seamless work of digital manipulation of medieval and Renaissance imagery. Now the Sola Busca Tarot was probably published in like 1491 or produced in 1491. The copper plates survive. I think there's maybe one colored, I could be wrong, one colored copy that survives. That is somewhere in Italy now, but was in the British Museum, and a redrawing of that was made in the early 20th century, and that became the basis of Los Scarabaeo's reproduction. So there's a Los Scarabeo deck out there. It's out of print. And then there's another version that is the Wolfgang Maya reproduction based on the original plates. That one is available, even though it's out of print. It was made in 1998, but you can still get that online, and I'll have all the links for that. There's not a lot about the Sola Busca on YouTube. There's not a lot about this deck, which is called the Sola Busca Revisited. Elle at Sacred Seed mentions both in her really wonderful deck collection video. I'll put the link there for that as well. I got this for a birthday present for my fabulous sister. The backs, they're customizable, and my sister went with a, that's my name, she personalized it, so it's got little ravens, which I love. Really quite beautiful, and the name is subtle enough that it's not like, you know, my LL Bean deck, my monogram deck. This version doesn't come with a white book. In fact, it just came shrink-wrapped in like a padded mailer, but it does have a card at the beginning that goes through the trumps and that explains what each of the suit images look like. Now, what the woman at Tarot by Seven did is she took the Sola Busca, which is our earliest illustrated pip deck, but it's not a traditional not a traditional Marseille deck. She took that deck and made it more like a Rider-Waite-Smith deck than it currently was. So the 22 trumps in the original Sola Busca actually chart historical figures from the rise and fall of Rome, but she manipulated, and she does seamless, beautiful digital manipulation. She manipulated the images. Oh, here's a little history card that she includes. She manipulated the images in order to give us a workable deck. And she also zoomed in on the images. So, you know, here we have, well, that's the magician. Here's the fool. Here's the fool. Got out of sync. And you can see the number. She sort of manipulated them to put the numbering in, and to take out extraneous, their names that were associated with the Roman figures, the rise and fall of Rome, those figures that made up the 22 trumps in the original Sola Busca. She took them out, she zooms in, so you get this borderless image, right? And it's enough like what we understand of the Rider-Waite to be workable. I haven't tried to read with it yet. But then because she's working with what she has, there are interesting things that aren't at all Rider-Waite-Smithy, but are kind of cool. So for instance, here we have, you know, the priestess, which doesn't occur in the Sola Busca deck. And she's holding a scroll, and the scroll actually is taken from a later trump, a trump associated with the Roman censor Cato the Elder. You can see it says creatis, so the Latin dative for creature, or but so you can sort of imagine, oh, you know, the priestess, something about creatures and maybe about God and creation or the divinity, but actually the scrap in the Cato trump is just a reference to a speech he made where the word creatus refers to an election. So it's like totally historical and not at all mystical. Here's the Empress in this deck, the Emperor, the Hierophant. You know, again, she's working with what she has. And so you end up the Lovers. You end up with these images which are really intriguing, the Chariot. And you can sort of translate them, strength. Okay, so, I mean, like, check it out. What, is he ripping a baby in half, pulling the baby from the flames? I'm not sure because I don't know what the Roman figures are that this is taken from. The websites that I have below, you can actually check out what the original images are. I haven't done that work yet, and you can sort of make sense of what the original deck was referring to. Hermit, the Wheel, Justice, a little bit in shadow here, sorry about that, Hanged Man. I mean, what she's doing and has achieved here, see, oh, that's the Cato, see, so this is from an image that refers to Cato, this Roman statesman who was upset about an election, you know, think sort of Bush Gore and hanging chads, and delivered a speech about it. Now, I don't really know Roman history, so that might not be the best analogy, but it's the best I can do. Right? Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, Star, Moon. So, you know, I mean, this is what we end up with, the Moon. Really different from Rider-Waite, so you make the connection here. The Sun. But they're gorgeous. I mean, it looks so deeply intentional. You know, and the colors. And one thing, I don't know if you can see, these are textured decks, so it's got this sort of, I don't know if I can capture this on the, do you see the texture of the card? Which means that they feel really nice. They have like, they're like playing, they feel more like playing cards, but in a good way, sort of a nice matte laminated finish. In the World. And now we're in the discs, and you know, the imagery of the suits, you know, she is working within actually the imagery that already exists, so she didn't have to manipulate in the same way. Look at that, the 4 of discs. Oh my God. So, you know, for me, look at the 5 here. For me, working with this deck is definitely going to be kind of this act of translation, working with my understanding of the Rider-Waite-Smith, triangulating that into the imagery I see here. So you can see too that each of these, I believe, I have to double check the images, but she sort of manipulated them to put the numbering in. The 6, so, you know, wow, look at, I mean, the skull and the, sorry about that, my computer making rude noises. Check it out. I love it, the 7. You know, some of these are more like what we expect, the 8 of discs, you know. And for Arthur Waite, you know, his ability to see this deck in the, I believe in the British Library. I could be making some of these details up. I'm not making them up, but I mean, I could be forgetting exactly how it worked. They influence the imagery of the Rider-Waite deck. So, you know, this is not, as she's really quick to say, the 7 Stars woman, and she's really quick to say, this is not intended to be a faithful reproduction. So that's the Page of discs, the Knight of discs, and you see it's number 12, Queen, King, and now into the cups. She's very quick to say, this isn't a historical reproduction. Nonetheless, there is something about, the imagery that she's pulling on is imagery that has an influence. So, and some of these you'll see it's directly the influence that affected the Rider-Waite system. The Three of Cups. Four of Cups. The Five of Cups. That I don't know what it is. There must be this Renaissance iconography, late medieval Renaissance iconography of foolish folly and your pants being pulled down. Because here we have the pants being pulled down, and there you'll see. I can't remember if we passed already. Sort of some full frontal nudity. A lot of that here. I gather the true original Sola Busca, the images used, these are portraitures, like a lot of what we know of the historical decks. So even within the trumps, where it's historical figures from the rise and fall of ancient Rome, it's using contemporary 15th century Italian figures are being painted in or engraved in. The Six of Cups, and sort of you can see the cherub and the child, and you can kind of see where the Six of Cups. Oh, I'm sorry, the Seven of Cups. This is the Six of Cups. Yeah. So here you've got the imagery, cherubim, and childhood. The Seven of Cups with the sort of the cups full of illusion lined up. The Eight of Cups as a kind of theme of overthrowing and renunciation, turning away. The Nine of Cups and the Ten of Cups. Again, I haven't done the exhaustive study of the parallels page. Oops, my cards are falling everywhere. Page, Knight, Queen, King. That exhaustive study that would, here we're into Swords, where I could say exactly where Seven Stars, the Tarot by Seven person, where she is manipulating, where she's just cropping the image. Two of Swords. But this next one, here we have exactly where the, familiar Rider-Waite image for the Three of Swords comes from. The Four of Swords. Love that. Skull. I'm seeing if we can get a little more light here. The Five of Swords. Is that the Five? Yes. Six. A lot of being burdened by swords here. The Seven. You can sort of see where the theft imagery comes from. The Eight. Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords. Ten of Swords. Right? Page. Knight. Queen. It's just a really, I like the feel of this deck. I am not at all sure. I haven't tried to read with it yet. Oh, here's the one with the full frontal nudity. Sorry. Two of Wands. Not the Three of Wands. So, this kind of way in which, this is just horrific, right? But this way in which this echoes the Three of Swords. A lot of, you can see how we're moving toward an illustrated pip by having a kind of emblematic, more pants falling down, a kind of emblematic, presentation of the suit. So it's sort of you can kind of see how we're getting from a kind of real pippy pip to something that's more of a scene. Oops. The 9, I love this card. Immersed in water. Sort of a female figure, maybe? Naked. A little bit, I mean, these cards, it's a little grotesque, right? And then, you know, here, like, right, this is the 10 of Wands. I mean, totally recognizable of what the imagery is that is going to be adopted. So, the Sola Busca, revisited.